Hey, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Maria.
I'm Jordan.
My name's Matt.
My name's Harry.
And welcome to the September Roundtable.
Yay!
Oh, you guys are getting good at this now. We've got this down like a well-oiled TARDIS, just ready to rock and roll at the top. Normally, listener, if you've listened to these for a while, we sometimes have a little niggle here and there in the old intro. Like everyone's just looking at each other with like that look, like, you know, oh, it was me. Oh, but now it's like, yeah, we're going to do it like this, bop, 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 and done. So, dear listener, welcome to another episode of the Roundtable. I hope you are keeping well. You've had a good, cracking week, and we hope you've managed to do something Doctor Who. Oh, beautiful.
Related.
Some of you are on the ball. Some of you have had too much gin. But yes, we hope you've had a good one. And
I don't know who that could have been.
Who could that be? Who knows?
I was going to say, like, shall we guess?
Shall we guess? We've been up to some cool stuff over the last week. So the bulk of the episode is going to be these guys who attended the live Big Finish event over in London. The Stuff of Legend, the Paul McGann live recording. Those guys are going to talk about their adventure into London. It was Cardigan Hall or something like that, which looks like a very cool little venue. And then we're going to finish up with a little bit of a chat on our thoughts on the upcoming spin-off, the battle between the thing and the other thing. I'll have to look up the title. I've forgotten what it's called, but we're going to have a little chat about that, and then we'll finish up. So before we crack on with all of that good stuff, dear listener, please make sure you are listening or subscribing in your podcast app of choice, especially if this is your first time listening to the Big Blue Box. That way you won't miss an episode. We have episodes that go out on a weekly basis every Friday, and then you can also catch these monthly roundtables as well with this talented, clever lot. So make sure you're doing that. You can listen for free over on the website as well, which is bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. And while you're there, you can also check out the cool merch roundups and articles and reviews and all that stuff that these guys put up. Is very, very cool. So check those out. And you can also link off to the socials. We chat Doctor Who throughout the week. And there's also a free link to our Discord server. So click that or tap that, hop in the server and chat Doctor Who with lots of other cool Who fans. And these guys are in there as well, chatting away. And Matt does his merch roundups, which is very good. The fake Star Wars fan does the merch roundups for Doctor Who, which is a paradox in itself. So, a little in-joke there. Right, before we crack on with all this stuff, let's see how you all are. Maria, how are you doing? How's things?
Oh, hi, Gary. Yeah, good, thank you. It feels like an age since we've recorded, but because we've packed so much stuff in between, I think. So yeah, I've been good. I've been out and about. Went to the proms at the Royal Albert Hall, which was fantastic. I haven't been to the Royal Albert Hall for donkey years. I think the last time I went, there was an Alison Moyet concert. So that's how long ago it was.
Blimey.
Yeah, I've kind of forgotten how tricky it is to get down there, because you come out the tube station and it's quite a long walk to actually get to the Royal Albert Hall. So luckily I did hop on a bus, which was fantastic. But yeah, went to see the proms. Had a got a last minute ticket. Your good co-host, Adam, said to me that they were releasing tickets on that weekend. So I booked a last minute ticket for the bank holiday. It was a really, really good event. I haven't heard Doctor Who music played at the Royal Albert Hall before, so it was a new experience for me. But the orchestra were fantastic. They played a mix of music from the series that's just gone. There was also some stuff that went back into Russell's era, first era. There was a really nice companion suite that they played, and there was a big roar from the audience when they played the 11th Doctor's theme. I think that's a really popular one. But it was a really nice event. I went in the afternoon session, and I didn't realise actually, but a few rows behind me, Russell T Davies was there with Phil Collinson, and everyone in front of me was looking backwards, and I thought what they were looking at, and then I glanced back, and he was sitting there, and he was signing autographs in the interval. There was a massive queue of kids that wanted to go and speak to him. But yeah, it was a really, really good event. I would definitely go again, but I'd like to see some classic themes in there as well, which I think was the only thing that was missing, because there was a lot of stuff obviously from the new series in there. There wasn't anything from classic Who, but aside from that, it was a fantastic event. So that was one event I went to, and then I went to the Cyberman Showcase, which was an event at the Riverside Studios recently with Jordan. That was a really informal, fun event where you can watch classic episodes of Cyberman stories. So they're individual episodes from different stories. And you had Gavin Ryhill, I think that's him. And oh my God, help me out, Jordan. Who were our hosts? I can't remember.
Yeah, Gavin Ryhill and was it James Goss? James Goss. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
So James Goss were there, and they're a bit of a double act. And there were all these like really interesting, fun facts about Cybermen that you never knew but always wanted to know. So that was a really fun afternoon. And then obviously the recent event that I went to was the Big Finish, the Stuff of Legend, which we're going to sort of talk about. So I feel like I've done a lot over the last month, and I'm quite exhausted, but I'm up for more. So, I'm looking forward to whatever else happens in the next few weeks as well.
Nice. You've been a social chameleon over the last couple. That's awesome. Yeah. I couldn't see you. I was also at the Proms, that matinee show, and I couldn't see you. I knew you were there, but I couldn't see where you were sat.
Yeah.
I was up on the side, but I saw Adam. It was so funny. I saw Adam, and I kept texting him saying, "Look up, look to the right, look up, look to the right." And I saw him looking in the complete opposite direction, and me and my wife were just cracking up. And I texted him saying, "No, your other, you're 3 o'clock." And he's like,
It was hard because it was packed. It was obviously there's so many people there. I mean, I was trying to see Adam as well, because I knew he'd got a standing ticket, a promming ticket. But I wasn't sure. Every time I looked, I wasn't sure if it was him. So we missed each other completely until after it was over. Yeah, bless him.
But yeah, you've done some great events there. Some really cool stuff. I think you've got a Riverside. Your Riverside Cybermen thing is up on the website, I think, isn't it? Did we do that one?
Yeah.
You did a review of that.
Yeah,
that's
I've
up on the
done
website.
One.
So go and that's it. Yeah. So go and check out Maria's review of that event at Riverside.
Oh,
that's up on the website.
There was one other one I've just remembered, because I'm finishing it today. We went to Riverside again, and we saw Dragonfire, because the Dewas were they're running these events in conjunction with Riverside. They're showing classic stories. So they did it recently with Louise Jameson. There was an event where she attended, and it was one of her stories. And they've done it with Dragonfire as well. So that was a fun event as well. So that had guests with it as well. And I'm going to mention the marvelous Patricia Quinn of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, who is an absolute hoot, who was there at the event, and in the nicest possible way. She's on a completely different planet, and it's lovely. But yeah.
Cool.
There was some really good guests. Obviously, from the story, there were some actors there. So that was another event. I've just remembered that one as well. So yes, I'm exhausted. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say you need a week off to recover from the week of doing all the Doctor Who things. That's really cool. So yes, the Cyberman showcase is up on the website. The Dragonfire McCoy event at Riverside, that'll be up soon. So, but that's cool. Glad you're doing well, Jordan.
Hello.
Soon to be uni superstar, off to uni next week. So cool. How have you been, bud?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said earlier, I think the nerves have started to kick in a little bit, but got to try and remember everybody there is in exactly the same boat as me. So it's not, everybody is going to be thinking the same thing. And I've just been packing in as much Doctor Who stuff as I can possibly do while I got the free time. So yeah, we did the big finish event, the showcase, the Sideman showcase, and the Dragonfire one. And yes, I will say in the nicest possible way, Patricia Quinn, whole other planet. When she was talking, I was like, I can see why you were in Rocky Horror Picture Show, because I think you've got to be on a whole other planet to be in that film. But she was lovely. I mean, when she was talking, I didn't know if she was drunk or not. The stuff the way she was doing it, I was like, have you been having a drink? And I sort of thought, she's the sort of person I would be fascinated to see how she lives. If when she's at home, she is like that when she's at home, or if that's kind of like a thing that she puts on. I have a feeling it is what she's like at home as well. But
just wandering around
I was watching her
smashed.
thinking, I would be fascinated to see what your life is like. But
oh wow, yeah.
So before uni, I've just been packing in as much Doctor Who as I possibly can while I'm a free agent, as it were, and I'm not bogged down by having to do things.
Oh, that's cool, dude. So when you get to uni next week, isn't it? Yeah. There'll be hushed tones, whispers. They'll be like, That's Jordan from the Big Blue Box. That's Jordan from the podcast. Oh my God, it's Jordan from the podcast. And then everybody will be like freaking out. Like, can we come and have a selfie and all that?
I'm like, yes, I'm famous. Here you are. Here's my autograph. £10 an autograph, please. So,
That'd be so funny. I'd be like, why is that guy sat at a table there with a stack of pictures of himself and a Sharpie? What's going on?
I'm getting into the practice now. That's what I'm doing. But,
yeah, saying it here now, guys. What are we now? September 2024. We have a future star in our midst.
Yeah, you never know.
Without a doubt. So just calling it now, by the way.
Yeah, one day I might be on here as a guest being interviewed and be like, oh yeah, no, I did, I used to write for it.
He will.
Garry.
He will.
But yeah, you never know. But it's,
So hopefully the excitement is outweighing the nerves a little bit.
Yes, I think it is. I think the more I think it's, so long as I don't overthink it, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm staying at home and commuting because I'm not that far away, so I don't have that worry. I don't have the added pressure of moving and nice. So I do a bit of like volunteering work in Chichester as well. So I know a few people and sort of whatever. So it'll be fine. I think a lot of where I'm stressing is just me panicking about it, overthinking it. But I am looking forward to it. But it's just all of a sudden it's next week, and it was like a year away the last time I looked. And no.
Cool, man. Cool. Right, Harry. So I think, Harry, you've also done some stuff, right? So I think while we were at the proms a couple of weekends ago, Did you go to Hooverville? Was it Hooverville?
It was Hooverville, yes. So
It was.
it's
How was that, dude?
mate. I could spend a whole podcast episode talking about that day. I do intend on writing an article on it because I've never been to a Hooverville before, but they pack so much into one day. It's crazy. There are talks running in there were talks running in two cinemas in this independent cinema called the Quad in Derby, like all day long. So for the first half of the day, I was going to talks, and I was kind of like thinking, do I hear from Philip Hinchcliffe or do I hear from Chris Chapman, or what do I do? But that was so cool. I went to a talk with Tommy Knight, and he was talking about Liz Sladen, and that was really emotional. And he's a cool guy. And Carolyn Ford, I had to go to her talk because obviously she's a legend, and I had to get her photograph and her autograph as well. I got to say, I've never been more intimidated meeting someone from Doctor Who, just because of how I don't know, I guess how important she is to, the legacy of our little show, really. So that was a joy. Also I met a bunch of other people. I met Katie Manning, who was lovely. Her queue was absolutely massive. I spent about 2 hours of the day queuing for her because she wanted to hear everybody's life story, which was, I mean, she's just lovely. She's just incredibly lovely. I also met David Goodison, Philip Hinchcliffe, Roger Murray Leach, Matt Irvine, and the original K9 prop, which was so cool. Quite serendipitous because The Invisible Enemy was actually my first classic Doctor Who story, so it holds a special place in my heart. And seeing that K9 prop was really cool. And there were a bunch of like traders, and I randomly bumped into Mr. TARDIS Reviews, the YouTuber. He was just stood behind me, and I asked him for a selfie, and he was really lovely and said yes. I can't remember at the top of my head. Neil Cole from the Museum of Classic Sci-Fi in Allendale, which I wrote an article about, he was there selling copies of his book, which is about memorabilia of the Patrick Troughton era, which is really interesting. He's got one coming out about John Pertwee memorabilia as well. Anything else? I'll try and cover it all when I do a write up on it. I've been a bit late to it because it was just a really dense day, but it was fabulous. And it made me feel like I was with my people, fellow Doctor Who fans, and it made me really want to go to other Doctor Who events, really, because it's funny because the proms obviously came up recently, and so did this Big Finish show. And when they both came up, I was just like, nah, I've only got it in me to do one event, but I want to do all the events. I want to go to all these things, money permitting. That it was really special, really, really special. And I'll finish that off by saying on the podcast that the Quad in Derby, so they're an independent venue, and they've been struggling, I think, to get some council funding in order to keep going, basically. And I'd never been to the cinema before, but it was a really, really lovely venue, and the staff there worked really, really hard to like manage like stupidly long queues and running up and down the venue and all that kind of stuff all day to kind of help put on a really good event for people. So it was actually the first Hooverville where they couldn't say we'll see you next year, because they don't have the venue. They're not sure whether they're going to have the venue next year. So yes, so I would highly implore listeners, if they have a little bit of kindness in their hearts and a little bit of spare cash, donate some money to the Quad, because you might be able to help save a independent cinema venue. Which, the cinemas are kind of dying at the moment, so it's really sad. But if you've got any money, then help them out, or at the very least, if Quad doesn't survive, you're helping like the livelihood of the people who, like the really nice people who help put on a really good day for all of us. So Hooverville, wicked, such a good day.
Oh, sounds so cool, dude. It's one of those events where Adam and I have said for years now, we always do it every year. It's like we should get out to some more events, and Hooverville looks really cool. So I think next year, if they're going to, I think it's been announced already for next year. So we'll have a look at getting to Derby for next year. It's not too far from me, actually. I'm in the West Mid, so I think it's only about 5 minutes up the road, an hour or so.
So it's pretty close to me as well. Yeah,
oh, nice.
I'll definitely be going again next year.
Cool. Because we do need to, this is one thing, listener, that you'll be shocked to hear. But we've never had all of us in the team meet together at one time. We've had little pockets of meetups that these guys have done. And obviously Adam and I have met, and Adam and... So, I don't know, yeah, all of us have never been in a room together. So we're hoping to sort that for next year. So we'll get on that. But Derby could be one of them. Who knows? If Jordan's not in Hollywood studios somewhere, we'll sort that out.
I'm sure I can get an invite for you all to come and...
Yeah. Russell and I are sorting out a venue, so we'll sort it out with you guys. But yeah, I'll probably be busy. Yeah, I think I'm working with somebody, Sienna Miller or someone like that, or I don't know. Anyway, we'll sort it out for next year for sure. But nice one, Harry. Sounds very cool. Matthew. So another revelation that we found out about Matthew. I'm going to shame him a little bit now. I think he went to the cinema today to watch a film. And did you say it's only the second time you've ever seen it? Was it the second time?
Shamedly, yes.
For fuck's sake. So, Matthew went to see The Empire Strikes Back today at the cinema. Now, that's not some weird fan film that's got the same name as the very famous film. This is the actual film. He's only ever seen it twice. That second time being today. So we're all in shock at this. So other than going to see Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back for the second time, what have you been up to, Doctor Who-wise, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I've never quite alienated myself from a group of people as quickly as I did 10 minutes ago. No, but it's one of those things that you always mean to watch, and then you see
It's not one of those things that you always mean to watch, Matt. It's one of those things that you always watch. Come on.
Well, yes, yeah. In fairness, it's.
I can't believe you've not seen The Empire Strikes Back more than 2 times.
No. Yeah.
Especially as it's often considered to be the best Star Wars film out of the 9 Skywalker. Oh my God.
I know. I deserve to be locked in carbonite for quite a few many years, don't I? But
he's redeemed himself a little bit. Come on. Nice. I love it.
Oh dear. I'll earn back your validation and trust one of these days. No, but Star Wars aside, which after this I do. But
seriously, how have you only ever seen it twice? I mean, come on.
It's it's a mystery. I mean, it took me.
Listener, he's only ever seen The Empire Strikes Back twice. The second time being today.
I'll tell you what. I've only ever seen Return of the Jedi once. Gary's shaking his head at me now. Oh, you should see some of the language he's putting through on the camera. Yeah. No. No, but it's one of those where it's
just
always
to confirm,
been on
he's only ever seen it twice.
Yeah.
The second time being today.
Yeah. It was good though.
Crack on then, mate. Crack on.
No, it's definitely something that I've always wanted to get around to watching, and then life gets in the way, and then you watch Doctor Who instead, and then it's just one of those things where when you finally make time for it, and you realise what a series of films that you've been missing out on. So yeah, the opportunity came up to see it at the cinema today, and it had been a good 3 or 4 years since I've seen it for the first time. So I'd watch it for the second time today.
Jesus.
Can I just say an unpopular opinion? I know this isn't a Star Wars podcast, but Attack of the Clones, I actually think is one of the best Star Wars movies. It's such a comfort film. I know it's stupid. I know the script is so dumb, but every time I'm in a bad mood, it just cheers me right up.
I thought you were going to say A Phantom Menace then was your favourite.
Oh no! That one's boring. No. That one's dull. But Mr. I don't like sand. I know how to, woo the woman. Best in the whole world. Best love story ever told. Anakin Skywalker.
You can see tears. You can see actual tears falling down Gary's face right now.
He's taken the headphones off and he is walking away.
I just wanted to help you out a bit, Matt. I think you were getting a bit of a battering.
You doing well though, Matt? You doing all right, dude?
Yeah. I'm doing very well. Star Wars aside, I'm doing very well. I've actually got into The War Master on Big Finish, a series again that I've always wanted to listen to, just never got round to it. Gosh, that's so good. The recent one, I think it was, is it Strange Encounters or Close Encounters maybe? It's 4 isolated stories. The last one of which is a story based upon his time as Professor Yana instead of the War Master, which I think is incredible that they've only done the one so far. But yeah, if anyone's got it in their Big Finish listening lineup, I implore you to go and listen to that one, because every single story on that one, I thought, God, this is really good Big Finish. This has got me hooked, which then just put me in the mood for more of the Master of Derek Jacobi. So then went across and had to do the Series 3 trilogy, well, the Luge trilogy, and just finished that one off last night. And then that's pretty much me. That's I've got a Star Wars saga ahead of me now, but well, obviously, I've also done this trip to London for the Big Finish event, which we'll get onto. But that's me in a nutshell.
Good, excellent work on the Doctor Who stuff. Not so much Maria's very silent. She's just sitting there in absolute disgust at what's going on. She can't even bring herself to comment on this ludicrous behaviour. But there we go. Well, probably a good idea.
If you do want to ask me about Star Wars, I'm an original film fan. So the 3 films that came out originally, those are the ones that I've watched many times. I went to the cinema for one of the newer ones. I can't remember which one it was, but basically there was so much CGI in it. It's the worst 3 hours of my life. So I'll never...
Attack of the Clones, probably.
Yeah, it probably was. And I'll never get those 3 hours back. So, what can I say? I always go back to the classic films, the ones that came out originally. I mean, they were I think they're the original and the best. That's just my opinion, though. What do I know?
Well, how many times have you seen them? Have you seen them more than twice?
Oh,
Maria?
God, yes. I've seen them loads of times.
Then you've got... well, then you're extremely qualified to answer your own question.
Thank you so much. I'm in esteemed company.
There
is one other thing that I could say that would probably get Gary to absolutely leave for good. Because I quite like Jar Jar Binks.
I love Jar Jar Binks.
Yes, he is delightful.
I wish they did. Wait, hang on a minute. Haven't they done like a Lego series recently where they actually made him a Sith Lord, like everyone wanted him to be? I need to see this.
It's a Lego series. It's called Rebuild the Galaxy, and it kind of riffs on the whole. Marvel did those animations that were called What If, where it was like, it's kind of like that, where if everything in the galaxy was like flipped on its side and spun around, what would it be? So there's a Darth Jar Jar Binks in it. And it's pretty cool.
Well, I know what I'm watching tonight when we finish recording.
Miss, I think so.
Don't do that, Matt. Oh, right. My head's hurting now. What are we doing? Right, we're talking about the live show, the stuff of legend. So, last week we had the opportunity to go and see the I think it's Big Finish's first ever. I could be wrong in that, but I think it's their first ever live recording of a story. I think. So, thank you very, very much to Big Finish for sorting us out attendance there. So we got these guys to go and check it out. I didn't go, Harry didn't go, but Jordan, Matt, and Matt's good lady and Maria were in attendance. So what did you guys think of this live event from Big Finish then? Over to you guys. There's no sort of set structure for this. Just dive in, give us your thoughts. What did you think, first of all, just as a whole?
I think Matt should go first because he was the one that was really, really excited to see the Eighth Doctor. And he couldn't contain his excitement when I first saw him.
Go on in, Matt. What did you think, dude?
Very true, very true. Listeners and you guys know that my favourite Doctor is Paul McGann, especially his work on Big Finish. It's, movie aside, but the rest of his tenure is just, my favourite. And I've never actually had the chance to meet him. Sadly, still not, but the next best thing was to see him live in action as the Eighth Doctor. And my God, it didn't disappoint. It was a fantastic day, from start to finish, because Big Finish could have gone really sort of basic with it, and they could have just you could have got into the hall, there could have just been a few chairs for the actors, and that's it. But no, you walk in, there's a TARDIS console, there's the movie TARDIS exterior, and there's a Dalek prop, there's the time rotor is moving up and down on the TARDIS console, and there's music and sound effects and lights and everything. It felt very premium, this event, and they pulled the stops out for this, and it really, really resonated, the fact that they cared about seeing how this one went, in thinking maybe they could do some more, is what I got from it. And absolutely brilliant. I think the story was really made for the theatre. You can tell that, because I mean, as a story alone, if I was just listening to it, I would probably say an 8 out of 10. The master does get away a bit too easily, a bit scot-free, and there is quite a lot of running through corridors. However, the jokes, the one-liners, the dialogue between Charlie and Eight and all of the other supporting characters, it works so well for theatre. And you had the audience, cheering, laughing. It was mesmerising. And to see Paul McGann come out, everyone came out in their normal clothes, and then Paul McGann comes out fully dressed up as the Eighth Doctor, just sent the entire crowd guffawing with applause, and it was lovely to see. I couldn't fault the day, and as a theatre performance, I'd say probably 20 out of 10. It was a pure delight from start to finish.
Oh wow, Matt was up for it, big time. Jordan, what did you think of it? Because obviously you guys listen to a hell of a lot of Big Finish between you, and so you guys know how it goes from a production point of view, as everything being done in a studio normally, and it's all kind of very well done and put together and stuff. So How does that play out from a live perspective then? Does it feel, when you were listening to it as they were recording it, did it feel like you were sat at home as you would normally would do, listening to a Big Finish story, or could you tell, like, oh my God, this is so different because it's live?
I think the first, because it's split into 2 episodes, and I think the first episode, I must admit, it took me a minute to get used to it, because I will always be doing something in the background while I'm listening to a Big Finish. So actually sort of sitting there, and you've got Paul McGann as the Doctor, India Fisher as Charlie, you've got Nick Briggs as the Daleks, and you're watching it, so you're not necessarily seeing it in your mind's eye. And I must admit, the first episode did take me a minute to get used to. It was absolutely fantastic, but I think because I tend to put it on in the background while I'm doing something else, it sounds really bad, I'm not concentrating entirely on that one thing. I'm normally using it as a way of like taking my mind off of something. Actually watching them physically do it was very different. Once you got sort of episode 2, I was used to it by that point. So it was episode 2, I think, felt like as a performance, it flowed a little bit easier, because I was like, right, this is what the status quo is like. This is what we're, how it's going. But it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, like Matt said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I feel very happy that I can say I've gotten to see Paul McGann play the Doctor live, and I've actually seen him physically become that character and do it. Some of my favourite, Harry, you do a fair bit of acting and stuff, don't you? You've sort of come from that sort of background. Watching it as sort of, I've only done sort of amateur dramatics up to this point, but watching it as so almost from an actor's standpoint, it was very... I was sat there thinking, I don't know how you're doing this, because in a way it's more physical than actually physically doing it. They're holding onto the podiums, but they're running through mines, and they're actually running, and they're like, oh, but Doctor, what are we doing? And and I'm thinking that must be more tiring than you could have, and it would still been brilliant, but you could have just as easily stood there and said the lines, but you haven't. There is an element of a performance to it. And one of my favourite things was they had a youngish lad, where's that thingy? What's he called? Gabriel Clark, he did some of the voices, but he was like a Foley artist that they had actually doing it. He was having an absolute blast the whole way through it. You could see how much he was enjoying himself. There's a bit where spoilers, but the audio's out, it's fine. The master sort of unmasks at the end and actually takes the mask off, and he'd put a rubber, yellow, like marigold rubber washing up gloves on his hand, pulled it off, and not pulled it off, took it off. And obviously it made that noise, and he absolutely wet himself at the end of it. It was so funny. But he was doing Roboman voices, he was doing Dalek voices, and you could see how much he was thoroughly enjoying it. Nicholas Briggs is the bleeding Daleks. 1 minute he's like that, then he's like that, then he's like that, then he's like that. And I'm like, oh my, which... It would take me a minute to be like, right, which Dalek am I supposed to be? I'd have to have Dalek 1, Dalek 2, Dalek 3 on my script or something, so I knew. But he was just doing it like that, and I'm thinking it was such a physical thing, even though they were only stood there reading their script. It was a very, very, very interesting experiment, and I hope they do another one. But yeah, it was. Even like the line fluffs, the amount of times people fluff their lines. She was in one with Christopher Eccleston, Nisha Nayar. She was Elaine the Pain in Tracy Beaker. That was what it was quite funny watching Elaine the Pain fight the Daleks in this one. But she was also with Christopher Eccleston in his finale. She had a line that was something like, "Oh, it's like the antennae from Alexandra Palace," or something like that. Could she say it? It took her about 4 attempts to say this line. She cut off India Fisher at one point, which In all fair, India Fisher was a very good sport about it, because when someone does that, it's the most irritating thing, because you then think, oh my God, right, you've cut that, what's my next line? Let's just carry on. And Alex McQueen is the master. I can't think what it was he said, but he was talking to the Daleks and he got it wrong. He was like, nope, sorry, that's wrong. Barnaby Edwards, can I try that again? Can I start that again? And did it again and again and again until he eventually got it right. And it took him about 4 or 5 attempts. In the end, I think Nick Briggs as the Dalek was like, can I exterminate him now? And he was getting like, not annoyed, but like you could see the Dalek was getting annoyed, but he just kept on having to repeat the question. It was brilliant the way they did it, and I do hope they do another one. Like Matt said, story-wise, you could tell that it was written for the theatre, and I think in many ways it could be a stage play. You could take that script and you could make it into a stage play. You've got all your Cornish characters, so they're all wah, and you've got your Daleks and your there was an element of sort of Hammer Horror's Plague of the Zombies to it, with the sort of people who have been zombified and they've been turned into Robomen in the mines. And I was like, the author Robert Valentine, I'm like, I know what you've done there, because that's one of my favourite Hammer films. I see what you've done. But as a script, I think it was written for the stage. I've not listened to the studio version of it yet, so I've not listened to what it's like as an actual audio drama, but I really hope they do another one, because it was very good, very, very good.
Oh, cool! I think it's been received very well. Yeah. I think I've not seen a bad review of it, or anything too bad to say about it. So by all accounts, it's done really well. So I'm exactly the same thought process. I really hope it becomes an annual thing. Yeah. So that'd be very cool. So, great. So you had a good time as well. Awesome. Good. Maria, what did you think to the old live show, the live taping?
Okay. Well, I mean, I went into it without any expectations, really. I mean, I obviously listened to the Big Finish audios, and so this was the first time that they've done this, and I think what they achieved, considering I think they said they only had 2 days rehearsal, was actually pretty good. As I think Jordan said when he was talking, it was a little bit strange, kind of trying to watch them, because obviously it's an audio play, to watch them and also try and get immersed in the story at the same time, because I'm probably a bit like Jordan in that I do immerse myself when I'm listening to Big Finish, and my imagination is kind of working and building its own pictures. So it was a little bit, it took a bit of getting used to, because you're watching them on the stage, kind of obviously saying the words, and what I liked was a lot of them did the actions. They were doing the running on the spot, and they were also using a lot of sound effects as well, to try and bring it to life and kind of make it a unique experience. I did enjoy it. I think because obviously we had the props on the stage, I did think to myself, would it have worked better as a stage play, where you would have seen them actually moving around a lot more. But I did enjoy it. I think it was a little bit difficult to get into the story, and I did find, I thought there was too many things happening in it at one point, because you've got Robomen, you've got Daleks, you've got the Master. So I think that maybe detracted a little bit. I mean, they kind of threw everything into the story, but what I did like was I liked the framing of it, where they started out with an older character called Emily, and there was also a younger Emily as well, which kind of framed it and actually made it quite self-contained. So I actually liked that. There was a good mix of comedy as well. I mean, there were some really funny lines, and they did encourage the audience. Barnaby Edwards did say at the beginning, if you want to clap, if you want to, if you want to kind of, get excited, you can. They weren't kind of saying you had to be kind of, you had to be quiet and shush and, don't say anything. So they were encouraging the audience to kind of, show their appreciation. So that was good. I really like that. I like that some of the sound effects, as Jordan was saying, one of the funniest ones was the rubber glove when the master is kind of, he does this thing where he kind of reveals himself. So the actor was kind of doing the actions, and then you had the rubber glove that was kind of making the sound. So, that was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought the actors actually did a fantastic job. I mean, I really enjoyed India Fisher. I mean, I don't know very much about her character, so it was quite nice to see their relationship, and they're obviously very comfortable, her and Paul McGann together, and it really came across. I mean, I don't know how old the character's meant to be, but you kind of got a sense of Charlie as, she's gone through a lot of adventures and she was quite experienced. And I think there was a nice kind of relationship between her and the Doctor. And it was lovely to see Paul McGann obviously on stage and kind of with the costume and kind of, he was really embodying the Eighth Doctor. So, it was a really good experience. I mean, as a one-off experience, it's quite unique, I think, because you're not immersed in an audio story. You're also watching the actors on stage performing, and they were performing for us because they knew there was an audience there. So I think it was interesting. I mean, probably not the strongest story from Big Finish, but it was enjoyable all the same. Everyone, I think everyone in the audience kind of loved it.
Oh, cool. And have you guys, any of you listened to the studio version of the story to compare? Have you listened to that yet? Because they released a non-live, like the regular studio version of the Stuff of Legend.
No, I did buy the CD from there, but I've not. Yeah, but it's on my on my to-do list. But I would be interested to hear what it's like on audio now that I've seen it done live. I think that would be quite an interesting comparison.
Yes, same.
I was just going to say that for the event, they actually produced a really nice program, a really kind of polished program, and there was a poster as well. So, kudos for them for the merchandise, because it actually looks really nice.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah. So, also, was there, you guys mentioned that in terms of a performance, it looked a lot more energetic than you thought it might be, instead of just them standing there fairly static, just recording the lines. They were actually into it. Do you guys think that that's how they just do it all the time in the studio? Do you think it takes that kind of sort of physical effort to get those performances across, or do you think it was just done for the sake of the stage show and people in front of them?
I would.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Matt. You carry on.
Carry on. Oh, I was going to say yes. I think you can tell that it's the energetic running about and the pointing and the exaggerated gestures that they do. I think it helps them to immerse themselves in the story and get a sense of real worldness whilst you're in a small recording studio where you haven't got all of these sound effects. So they were saying it's really quite strange doing this live performance, because they don't normally have any of these sound effects or the Foley artist in with them. So a lot of that is going to help them anyway with the stage play, the live performance. But normally they wouldn't have it. So you do get a sense that is very normal for them to do. I was just going to say also with the Foley artist, I didn't know what that was until halfway through. I was texting Jordan at the time during the interval, and he was saying something about the Foley artist. I thought, what's a Foley artist? And anyway, fantastic job they get. Absolutely brilliant job. And yeah, it does. It brought the story to life. And yeah, I think it's fascinating as much as it was in an enjoyment level. It was a fascinating thing to see because it really gives you a look at how Big Finish operate, which I think it was. Yeah, it really, really cool.
I think they're learning from this as well because, obviously it's very new to them doing it live. So I think it's a learning experience for them. And if they obviously do it again, I think it will be more polished. It will probably be more, I don't know what the word is. It will be, they'll probably have more rehearsal time. It will be a much smoother experience because obviously, like Jordan was saying, there were actors kind of maybe talking over each other. There were some obvious sloughs that were done, and maybe it's the excitement of the performance. What was interesting was that they kind of talked at the end about how long it takes to actually get the audio stories finished, and they did say it takes up to a year. So they obviously work really hard on kind of, making them really polished when they go out, for sale to the customers. But this is an experimental kind of performance that they've done, and it was really interesting to go and see it, and to kind of get a little peek behind the curtain of what they actually do.
And something that no one else had mentioned, what I also really liked was at the end we kind of did the sort of panto kind of thing where they sort of split the audience in half.
Oh yeah, they did do that.
They were like, right, you're going to be like ill robo men, and then all this water's going to come down from a cave, and you've got to do your best drowning noises. But what you do in panto is you split the audience in half. You're like, right, normally you're singing a song, so you're like, right, this side sings it first, then that side does it, then you all do it together. Right, which side was the best? And they were like, well, you were all fantastic, which is the usual thing, but actually, the right-hand side was the best side, but it's fine. But I really liked all that because it kind of, for me, I was thinking the whole way through, I was like, it is quite pantomime. There is something, and maybe that's the thing about Doctor Who in general, is that it is quite pantomime. But it was very much, you could imagine people being like, oh, no, it isn't. Oh, yes. It was that kind of I'd say performance, but that makes it sound like it's not as serious as it was. But it was that kind of vibe, was it kind of, especially in the second part where the mistakes started to sort of happen. But yeah, no, when they split the audience, I was like, yeah, that's very pantomime. I do quite like that.
I think I really
did enjoy that.
I did actually like that because I think it kind of involved us as well. Acknowledged we were there, so that was actually quite nice. Yeah.
And I think that kind of came across where they were like, oh, if it's funny, laugh. If it's if you want to clap, because you encourage people to do that sort of thing anyway when you're doing a performance like that. So I think as a performance piece, I think I maybe appreciated it a bit more than maybe the not the story as if the story was bad, but I think I appreciated it as a performance a bit more than an actual story, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and just lastly on this, did you guys get the same? Because I don't know about you, Matt, but Jordan and Maria, you've certainly been to your fair share of BFI events and Riverside events and so on. Did you get that same vibe as when you were there, or even at the Doctor Who proms or something, where you felt like you're around your people? Like, it's just so, like, the energy is so great when you're seeing something in a room with just lots of other Doctor Who fans. Did it have that same sort of feel to it?
Well, I mean, when we went in, I said to, I can't remember who I said it to. I said it's a bit like a school hall because it's quite a tall hall. Was it Cadogan Hall?
Cadogan.
Thank you.
Cadogan?
Sorry, I knew I was going to mangle it.
I think I call this
but
Cardigan Hall, as I know that's not right.
It's kind of an old. I knew I was going to mangle it. I shouldn't have even tried. Yeah, I mean, it was quite a tall structure. So when you went in, you had chairs on the ground floor, and then you had like a balcony with benches, and it did feel a bit like a kind of school hall kind of environment. Yeah, what was your question, Gary? Sorry, I got distracted. I completely forgot what you asked.
I was saying the other events that you've been to where there's been lots of other, because it's not like a standard Comic-Con where you've got lots of different sort of pop culture franchises all coming together. This is purely Doctor Who. So like the other events that you guys have been to, whether it's a BFI or a Riverside or, you know, a specific Doctor Who event like Hooverville or something like that, did this have the same vibe? Did you feel like it was the same sort of thing where it's just really cool to be surrounded by all, you know, Doctor Who fans?
I think so, yeah. There was a lot of you do get a lot of like in-jokes that only Doctor Who fans will understand, and everybody laughs, which you do get at like conventions. I mean, Harry, you did Hooverville, and I would imagine it's the same vibe as when Maria and I do the Capitol kind of thing. When you were talking about it, is you've got your talks and the autographs and everything sort of going on. And I think, yeah, because everybody is there for the same thing, I think there is a bit more of a sort of camaraderie because you're all there. You're not like, oh, no, I don't do Doctor Who. Anime is my thing. Or sort of, you know, there's not a kind of a sort of battle between what is better. I think everybody's there for the same thing. So I think that does add to it, that you're all there and you're all enjoying it and you're all laughing at the same jokes. And it's
gotcha.
Yeah.
I think what Jordan says is quite right. I didn't kind of think about it in terms of going when we go to somewhere like Capitol, which is like a weekend convention. But yeah, you did get a bit of that feel because obviously everyone's there for, you know, loving Big Finish or loving Doctor Who. So there was a nice vibe there, and I think I agree with what Jordan was saying about the panto kind of feel of it. You know, it was very much about involving us as an audience as well, which was really nice.
Oh, cool. It does sound very cool. So
I would say what Jordan was saying, how everybody sort of is there for the same thing. I would say yes. There's definitely it came to me as like there's a collective joy in the room. Everybody was buzzing to see this, and like you say, everybody there is a Big Finish fan, a Doctor Who fan. So there was one part especially where I mean the CD's out, so spoilers, but Charlie has to get into an emptied Dalek, and the character that Barnaby Edwards was playing said, "You'll never get me in one of those," and everybody's just chuckling away because obviously, you know, he's been in them more than anybody else. But, there is a joy to these type of things where all Doctor Who fans are joining together. I've not been to many conventions, so I can't really comment on that. But the few times where I've seen Doctor Who in the cinema, it's very, very similar. It's just, there is something about it. There's this energy in the room.
I will say, right,
I assume so. Yeah,
when I was outside of the quad queuing up to get my wristband for Hooverville, there was a Cyberman walking around, and some guy turned to me and said, "Oh, I wish I had some gold on me. And that was like a minute in to arriving at this convention. And you just get little things like that, like little interactions and like inside jokes that like, I mean, I'd never like have that kind of inside joke with anyone at work, for instance, kind of thing. So like, if anyone listening has never been to a convention before, I'd highly recommend it, or something like Stuff of Legend, because I never leave it feeling anything less than just super duper happy. Like it's good to be around other Doctor Who fans.
100%. Yeah, it's very cool. Okay, so very quickly then, just for you guys, out of 10, please, Jordan.
8 out of 10.
Matt. Matthew.
Sorry, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, lovely. Maria.
I'll say 8 out of 10.
Super. Right, yo. So that was our thoughts on the live show from Big Finish, the Stuff of Legend. It does sound like a really cool experience and a great show. So hopefully you guys will do this as at least another year or two and try and have an annual thing. It does sound like a really cool show. And Jordan?
Oh, I was going to say, and to the lady when I was walking around Sloane Square, the purple Lamborghini, who decided to toot at me when I was crossing the zebra crossing. It is a zebra crossing. Down south, we stop at zebra crossings and let the people cross. But, there we go. Right.
There we go. To the lady, yes, in the Lamborghini. Not tut-tut.
I know you're listening.
But thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much to Big Finish again for allowing us to attend to review the show. It was very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much to Lizzie and Kieran at Big Finish. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorting out
because it was great.
Tickets.
Yeah, thank you ever so much.
And right, we'll if you guys just make sure you're following the podcast as mentioned earlier. Any time that Big Finish drops some news about upcoming live performances of any capacity, we'll be sure to let you know, so you can get your tickets sorted out, etc. Right, we've got a little bit of time left. We're just going to finish up on some very quick thoughts on the upcoming spin-off that's been announced recently. We spoke about it. Adam and I spoke about it very briefly a few weeks ago when it was first announced, and all we had was just the title of the show, which is The War Between the Land and the Sea, which is, as we know, a Sea Devils type of affair. And we've got the some of the main cast members, so Russell Tovey, Gemma Redgrave, etc. Those guys are in it. And it's being written by Russell T Davies and Pete McTighe, and also some of the people who directed the recent episodes from Shooty's first series are coming back to direct some stuff as well. So Dylan Holmes Williams, who directed 73 Yards, is back, and there's another director as well. And this is also going out as Shooty's first season went out, so it's going to go on Disney Plus internationally and BBC and everything here. So they're the deets for the spin-off. Now it sounds kind of cool. We obviously know it's going to be a unit driven thing by the look of it, because Kate Stewart's back, and we've the character that was in the finale of season 1, he was one of the unit guards or soldiers, and it turns out there's a bit of a love interest between him and Kate Stewart, so that guy's back as well.
Still a HR nightmare, but
so, yeah, well, of course, yeah. I mean, who is HR at unit? Is it the, what's the guy's name? Is it the Vlinks? Does he manage all of that stuff, or is there a dude there?
Maybe
that's
Benton.
I don't know. Benton
manages it.
Yeah, so that's a potential bit of red tape nightmare. The whole relationship thing at work. It's not for us to say. Yeah, if that is a good or a bad thing, or a right or a wrong thing, that's only for Russell and Pete McTighe to elaborate on. But that's the deets, right? Very briefly. So you guys, just 2 quick questions on this then. Number 1, the obvious one: are you looking forward to this spin-off? Because the the concepts for a Doctor Who spin-off are many, right? There's millions of ideas that you could draw on to do a Doctor Who spin-off. So are you happy that this is what they're going with as the first one that we've seen in years? And secondly, and probably more appropriate if you're not up for it, what would you like to see as a Doctor Who spin-off? So let's go to Harry first. Hit us up.
I'm not looking forward to it. I hate the Sea Devils. Nah, I'm just kidding.
We all froze then for a second, like, oh.
I mean, I will admit, of all of the Doctor Who monsters, the Sea Devils wouldn't be the one that I would choose to like be a focus of a big budget Disney spin-off. They just wouldn't be. But I want to be open-minded about this. I like the fact that we don't really know anything about it other than Sea Devils and Unit, and that one random character from Torchwood Children of Earth is coming back. Colin McFarlane's character. I forget who he played. I think it was a member of the US government or something. I've not seen Children of Earth for a long time. Yeah, I mean, that's a reason to be excited, I think. The fact that like we don't really know anything about it. The fact that it's going to be like, I guess, a serialized thing because it's so they're filming it all in one go, and they've got one director, I think, so yeah, it's not going to be like a Monster of the Week type thing. It's going to be like a 5-episode epic, which I think is a pretty cool idea. So yeah, we'll see, I guess. And in terms of like a spin-off, I guess I would rather see. So say if this went down really well and Disney and the BBC decided to do another, I would love to see more of the companion support group from Power of the Doctor. And I'm not even talking necessarily like Joe Grant and Melanie Bush fighting Savine on a council estate. I'm more saying I'd love to like see them adjust to normal life. I'd love to see what psychologically like that would do to someone who had travelled through space and time and then had to adjust to like integrating back into society and like getting a job and like all this kind of stuff. I feel like maybe I might be in the minority there. I might be one of the only people who wants to see that. But I think that would be really cool. More. Okay. I guess just more of like more of the characters that we already know and love. Because I get the feeling that for this Sea Devil spin-off, they're introducing quite a few new characters. I think it's a real missed opportunity that they brought back Gugu and Batha Raw and Russell Tovey, and they're not reprising their characters. Like, why? And also, you know, all the rumours about Martha coming back. I would have loved Martha to be like the lead of a spin-off because Martha's one of the best Doctor Who companions ever. But alas. So I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to see like old companions that we really love come back and give them a bit more time in the spotlight.
I see. I think we had you make a good point in that as a spin-off, I guess what they've gone with is, although it's not what I would call like a tentpole monster, as in like the Daleks or the Cybermen. The Sea Devil's obviously very popular, but they've not been in Doctor Who an awful lot like the other ones, the big three, if you like. So there needs to be some kind of sort of Doctor Who monster-y villain sort of thing going on, which is all well and good. But you do make a good point in that I think there are a lot of stories that could be told with the companions that have travelled with the Doctor and come back and they're just doing their thing. We had a very small insight into that, just very briefly, at the end of it was either series 1 or 2 with Rose, where the Doctor had gone off somewhere and she's in a cafe with her mum and Mickey, I think, and she's just feeling really alienated by the world because she feels it's very difficult to, having experienced that with the Doctor, life is just boring. There's just nothing that interests her. She's not motivated to go and get I think I'm right in saying, right, I'm sure this was a scene
in the parting of the ways where she's eating chips.
Yeah. Yes.
And then she storms out.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah. So I think they're trying their best to sort of make her feel like everything's going to be all right. You can just slot back into everyday life. And she's not having it because she's experienced such fantastic things. And now everyday life is... So I can see how that would translate really well into a bunch of companions that are here on Earth, have travelled with the Doctor, and now it's they're just not quite finding purpose because they've done all that stuff. So yeah, that could be really cool. And it would almost be like... this next bit's not for you, Matt, but there was a Star Wars... show that they did on Disney Plus called Andor, which was like a prequel to the prequel film Rogue One, where it shows those characters and how they integrated into the rebellion and stuff like that. And it was there was no lightsabers, no force, no magic, nothing like that. It was just a real character driven story that really complemented the main thing really well. So they could do something like that with the companions that complemented the main show and all that. Yes, I like that, Harry. Nice.
It's cool.
Nice
and what
job.
you said about that scene in Part of the Ways, it's an incredible scene, and it's one of the moments that makes Rose Tyler as a character really relatable. That she's one of us. She's in this society. She's part of the human race, and she's she came from like a normal background, and I just think in a day and age where we're saturated with TV and movies, like that's such an original idea. What happens after all of the science fiction adventures finish? I think that'd be really cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think it'd be really cool.
No, I agree. Nice, dude. Thank you. Right, Maria. I know that you're a fan. I think you're a fan anyway of the Sea Devils, but what do you think to this as a spin-off?
I think it's quite an unusual idea. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have thought of the Sea Devils if I was thinking of a spin-off for Doctor Who. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because it's a 5-part mini-series. I'm assuming it's going to be something self-contained that obviously will finish at some point. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with them. I hope they keep the original design of the Sea Devils and they don't update it, and they don't do what they've done with the Silurians, which is kind of make them a bit more, a bit less aggressive. We had characters like Strax and things like that. So I hope they're going to keep to the spirit of the Sea Devils. I must admit, as a title, I think it's a really awful title for a mini-series. I'm finding it so hard to actually remember what it's called. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been my first choice as a spin-off. I mean, because it sounds like it's going to be a one-off event, so it doesn't sound like it's going to actually become something that could have legs, like Torchwood would have. Torchwood obviously ran for two series initially, then we had Children of Earth, and then we had the 4th series. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be something that will have legs and have a long life. It'll be interesting to see what they actually do. Not my first choice as a story. I mean, obviously we don't know what the story's going to be, but as a character, as a monster, not my first choice for a spin-off. I would have gone for something a bit more human-based, probably, if I was going to do a spin-off. Maybe using a classic character. I did actually think, because I think originally we were gonna look at ideas for what would potentially be a spin-off, was something like having Sergeant Benton's family investigating the strange and the mysterious, and I would have called it Benton and Bell. Benton and Bell. So Bell
nice.
Bell could have been could have been a daughter, could have been granddaughter, and they would have travelled in Bessie, so that's my corny idea for a spin-off.
Oh,
I'll tell you what,
that's lovely.
That's got Maria fan
That's got
fiction
legs.
series
got wheels.
written all over it.
It's got legs.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool, Maria. No, I love that because it's got like it's got obviously leans into the classic stuff, but also and it's a bit like you could inject lots of modern-ish Who stuff in there, but it's got that sort of grounding in the classic years. Yeah, I like that. Very nice. Okay, Jordan, are you up for this this spin-off?
Yes, I think so. I think it is an awful title. It's not. It's not one that trips off the tongue. It's not Children of Earth or Miracle Day or sort of Sarah Jane Adventures. It's a bit like it's such a long title. But I think I'm looking forward to it because it is like serialized. So it is one story told over 5 episodes. So it in a way it kind of has a Children of Earth vibe to it, in that you could view it as an event piece of television, and some of the stuff I've seen on Twitter, it might actually be a bit more exciting than we're being led to believe at the moment. I do think it's weird that you've got 2 actors who have been in Doctor Who before who are not playing their original characters. In fact, from some of the pictures I've seen, they're playing almost the complete opposite of the characters that they've played. But yeah, I suppose, I don't know, Sea Devils aren't, I suppose they're not really a villain that I would have thought, give them a spin-off. I suppose they are in a way. Some of the, I mean, I won't go into it because it might be a bit sort of spoilery, but some of the plot lines are a bit like the Jodie Whittaker episode Praxis, where it was all about plastic and all this sort of stuff. And it was, so I suppose in a way, yes, they are the ideal monster for this particular story that they're trying to tell. Maybe it's going to work as like a backdoor 5-part pilot into a unit spin-off. Maybe it's going to be a bit more of a, here are all the characters and now they're in their own 13-part series and you're going to watch them for the next 5 years kind of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I will get more excited the more we see of it, I think. And I'm guessing it's going to come out next year sometime. But I think, that I will get more excited about it the more that I see and the more I hear about it. And it's like, that looks quite good and that looks quite good. I am quite pleased to see the Sea Devils again, and hopefully Russell can redeem them from the monstrosity that was Legend of the Sea Devils. And I'm sure he will. I mean, he managed to redeem the whole Flux arc in about 2 lines in Wild Blue Yonder. So I'm hoping that he can do, and he gave, in fairness to, he gave Kate more of a character in sort of 1 episode than Stephen Moffat ever managed. So, I've had my issues with Russell this series of Shooting Outward, but I will give him credit where credit is due. I think if I was going to...
Yep.
I was, hey, at least we're not Chibnall bashing, but that's it. But it could just as easily. I think if I was going to pick a spin-off, I mean, a few years ago when I did a sort of few pitches and things, if I was in charge of what I would do, one of them was a Charitable Earth with Ace, and I think you could kind of, I know we keep saying Sarah Jane Adventures, but I suppose that was kind of the pinnacle of Doctor Who spin-off. You have that classic companion, and you have a couple of classic characters in it, and you can have new modern Who characters, you can have brand new characters, and they kind of, it's about Ace sort of stinging aliens when they come to Earth, but they're not necessarily evil. They're not after. even though I think in my pitch, the first series was going to be something like the vampires from like State of Decay, and it was all going to kind of go into that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
But you could have those characters and have a new villain, and but you've got your legacy characters there, and it's sort of everybody's met Ace anyway in Power of the Doctor, and you could have Joe Grant. I mean, I'm hoping Joe Grant turns up or is at least mentioned in this War Against the Land and Sea, because she was the first companion who met the Sea Devils. Or I'm hoping at least we get a classic companion comes back for it. Even if it's Bonnie Langford again, I'm more than happy that there's someone in it that is from the original series. But yeah, so maybe I would have done like an Ace series, I think.
That would be cool.
I'm looking forward to it. It should be interesting, but I think, not a thing that I would have picked, and I think that seems to be the consensus online, is that it's not a monster and not a plot that I would have picked.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think we're in agreement on that one. Matthew, what are your thoughts?
I'm a bit meh about the whole thing, I'll be honest.
I thought you would be.
Yeah. Thing is, I adore the Sarah Jane Adventures. I was right at that right age where it was the race home from school and watched that every week, and they got everything with the Sarah Jane Adventures just right, 100% of the time. It was the pinnacle, like Jordan says, of spin-offs. That some weeks, I was more excited to see that than Doctor Who. So when they announced this, I don't know what I was hoping for, but I think it's slightly unfair on it, because I think I might be maybe biased on thinking that was going to happen again, where it was such a rare gem that I don't think it's fair to compare it. So, but it as everyone said, it's not something that I immediately would have thought, oh yeah, that makes total sense to do that as a spin-off. It's very sort of out of the ballpark idea, but I mean, I was reading something that Russell was saying on it, and he said, I've actually got it here. He said, "I'm so lucky to work with such a magnificent cast, and this is a huge, muscular, thrilling drama that will shake the Whoniverse to its foundations." So it does sound like it's going to be quite epic. So who knows? I could be proved wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to see Jo Grant, like Jordan was saying, both for her character, and I just love Katie Manning. I think she's one of the best people on the planet. And any more time that we get to see with her in it is going to be a good thing. So yeah, I'm waiting to be pleasantly surprised, but my hopes they're not high, which comes across. I'm not negative towards it. I'm just kind of meh, I think is the
just kind of meh.
Yeah. But what I'd like to see, if I was in charge, if I had my Russell shoes on, I would love to see almost like a Marvel What If series for Doctor Who. I think that would be amazing. Like, you could pick specific moments that almost turn left kind of vibes, where different moments throughout the series, this happened, it was pivotal. What if it didn't happen? What if this character took a different turn? What if this person was bad instead of good? And what happens if the Doctor did not save the day there, or he didn't turn up? Or I think that would be a really fascinating series to see.
Interesting thoughts. But the consensus is there, though. I think between all of us, in that as a spin-off announcement and the first one, it's okay. It's okay. And as Jordan said, Jordan's left us, by the way. I think his broadband's crapped out. But as Jordan was saying, even the wider opinion on things, just online in general, not that we should go on it anyway, but, it's been fairly consistent. It's like, sounds all right. It could be amazing. Who knows? It could be very cool. Fingers crossed.
I think also the legend of the Sea Devils hasn't helped. I mean, it was everybody was really excited to see the Sea Devils back, and then that episode was, well, some people may have loved it, but I think the general consensus was that's pretty poor. So I think that's kind of not helped. But who knows?
I think that was Maria's favourite story from Modern Who. I'm sure I heard her say that one time.
Thanks for that, Gary.
I'm pretty sure I've heard Maria say that.
I'm glad somebody else mentioned the Legend of the Sea Devil. That cracking adventure that we all loved, and can't wait to see again. Told you. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to just go onto iPlayer and just watch it again.
She's probably got it queued up now, ready to play as we finish recording. It's like the title screen at the minute.
Do you know what I think, right?
Okay, dudes.
I think Russell,
go on, Harry.
I think Russell was sat in his armchair watching The Legend of the Sea Devils, and he thought, no, it's not good enough, this. I need to make something better. Way better. Earth, universe shattering with the Sea Devils. Also, I reckon he also saw Class on iPlayer and thought, that's way too short a title for a Doctor Who spin-off. Let's make a super duper long title with every word in the English language. I'm being hyperbolic, but yeah.
He probably did a Moffat, right? He's probably sat there, like you said, couple of bottles wine deep, and he sees that come on. He's like, I'm not having this.
Wine glass.
So he rings up old Chibbers. Yeah, he rings up old Chibbers. All right, Shagger. Yeah, just watching the old Sea Devils episode that you did. Brilliant, of course. Pinocchio moment there. Hate it. I'm just going to do my own version, mate. No bad feeling, no bad vibes. I'm just letting you know that this is what I'm doing, all right? And then Chibber starts to just rant on, and he's like, beep, just hangs up. Did you inform Chris about this? Yes, I did. I told him last night. Very sophisticated phone call. Bottle of wine. No animosity. It was all good. So that's how it went down, probably.
The thing is, right?
Wine involved.
This has been commissioned by the BBC and Disney, so it's got to be good if Mr. Mickey Mouse sees dollar signs when he hears about it.
It's got to be good because Disney's commissioned it.
Actually, that's not good logic, is it?
No.
The Star Wars sequel trilogy.
That's reverse logic right there, bud.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to cap this bit off before we end, I think we're all in agreement then that we're kind of looking forward to it. We're not like losing sleep and counting down the days, but we're sort of, it'll be all right, which is cool, I guess. Just lastly for me, I still advocate after all these years that we should still have a spin-off with Clive from the episode Rose. I think that's still... that scene where Rose goes into, is it his shed or one of his spare
Clive's
rooms?
shed.
And there's just, it's the shed, isn't it? Yeah. And there's just like a billion bits of research about the Doctor and all the things he's found out and all the places he's gone to and all that stuff. I think there's a really good little 3-part mini-series begging to be made for Clive, and all those little near misses that he's had with the Doctor, like he's walked past him on the high street, or he's about to have a car accident and the Doctor's inadvertently saved him and he didn't know, and all these, all this stuff around. I think they brought him back for Big Finish, right? I think he was in one, was it like an alternate universe
he was back
thing?
When Rose Tyler, it was the Rose Tyler series. I think he was back, wasn't he? The Dimension Canon. The Dimension Canon, yeah.
And he was fantastic in it. And it just, it's
proof
proof of concept. Absolute proof of concept. You could easily say, you could easily make it so that the Auton missed and Clive didn't get his head blown off, because You never saw it.
You never saw him die on screen. Yeah.
Did you not? I thought
Very true.
No.
No.
okay.
So
I think you see the reaction, but not the.
That's it.
Yeah.
From his wife's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I need
But
to
you
see
never know.
this
Come on,
series.
Russell.
Clive's shed.
I need to
In
see
the
this.
diamond logo, Clive's shed.
Yeah.
Caught me off guard, Jordan.
It's one of your internet nutters.
And his wife is saying, Clive.
Oh dear. Come on, Russell.
There you go. Spin-off material. Just if you ever run out of ideas, Russell, just come and listen to us.
Bloody sea devils. Come on. To be fair, at least we're not having a Dalek story and a Cybermen story because, to be fair to them on that, at least we're not getting the obvious choice. So it could be cool. So anyway, thank you very much, dudes, for your thoughts on the old potential spin-off coming up. We're going to finish off with keeping these guys on their toes, aka the quick fire round before we finish. So we're going to go through the list as it appears on my screen. So Harry, you're up first, dude.
All right.
Right. 3 questions, quick fire. And you can't say like, if it's just it's a this or that situation, as you know. Okay. So, would you rather be killed by a weeping angel or a Dalek?
Dalek. No, Weeping Angel, because then I get to live my life.
Short and sweet. Oh, okay.
But with a Dalek, it's over quickly.
That was the point of the question, see?
Okay, yeah. Dalek.
There you go. So, Weeping Angel for you. All right, then.
Yeah, that's better. Let's go with that.
If like future Jordan and you were cast in an episode of Doctor Who, would you want to be on the goody side, like Doctor, companion side, or would you want to relish in playing a villain?
Villain.
A villain?
Yeah, I'd love to play the Master. That'd be fun.
Surprises me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected that from Jordan, but not from you. Surprised. And lastly, Rose Tyler or Mickey?
Rose Tyler.
Rose Tyler. Okay. I thought Mickey had a bit of a tough deal there with Rose. Didn't get treated that well, but okay.
Well,
so you want to be the villain
arse.
and you want to treat Mickey badly. All right. Cool. Right. There are your 3 quick fire questions. Matt, over to you. Look at Matt's face. He's like, here we go. Bring it on. Would you rather have as your companion River Song or Captain Jack?
Captain Jack. I think he'd be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, of course. K9 or the Vlinks?
Oh, K9. Absolutely.
No love for the Vlinks.
No.
And if you could have one doctor tell you a good night story, would it be William Hartnell or Matt Smith?
Old. William Hartnell. Because you could listen to him all day. But then, Matt Smith. No, Hartnell.
No, you said Hartnell. Right, okay, cool. Maria, you are up. Hello. Right, so, new Who or classic? No, I'm joking. If you were to travel with the Doctor, would you rather come back to Earth and have your memories intact forever, or would you rather leave Earth and be killed on a planet at some point and not have your memories of
no,
Earth?
come back and have my memories for definite.
So this links into what we were saying earlier. Harry mentioned about companions struggling to reinsert themselves back into society. So you'd rather have the anguish of knowing that you were in space, but now you're not.
Yeah, who wants to die on an alien planet? Come on.
All right. No worries. Okay. If you could steal one prop from classic Doctor Who, what would it be?
Oh, the key to time. Oh, sorry. Was there a choice?
Okay. No. Just the key to time. Interesting. Okay. And last question. If you were given the Doctor's sort of power of time and travel just for 1 minute, you could only hop somewhere for 1 minute, where would you go?
I'd go back to the 1960s because I want to.
For a minute?
For a minute.
For a minute?
Where could I go in a minute? I don't know. I've no idea if it's only for a minute. Well, I'd like to see the Summer of Love, 1968. So, I probably still would go back to the 60s, even if it was just to kind of smell the marijuana in the air and and watch all the hippies. I don't know.
Wow.
I've no clue. I don't know.
Just come to Hailing, Maria. That's literally, you open the window and that's all you can smell.
Wowzers, right. So Maria would want to go to 1968 for a minute. All right then. Jordan, you're up, dude.
Yep.
Tegan or Adric?
Tegan, my favourite companion.
Too easy. Too easy. If you could have one kitchen condiment in the shape of the TARDIS, what would it be?
The kettle.
The kettle?
Yeah. So I'm just looking at my kitchen, I'm like, oh my god, what have we got in here? This shape. Yeah, probably the kettle.
Gotcha. Nice. That'd be cool, actually. Maybe Smeg or somebody like that, Russell Hobbs, whatever. There you go. I know you guys listen, the MD of manufacturing and research. Give us a call. Last question to you, dude.
Yep.
Matt Smith's Doctor or Patrick Troughton's Doctor?
Patrick Troughton's Doctor.
Why is that?
I've never really gelled with the 11th Doctor, so I think me and Patrick Troughton would have a bit of a laugh. I think.
Interesting. You say that because those two Doctors from each end of the spectrum, they're often compared.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went with Troughton.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I see. All right then. I'm surprised again at some of your answers, guys. You just blow me away with the insights, because in my head I'm thinking I know the answer to this before I've even read it out, but then you come back at me with something else. So lovely stuff. Right then, that was a quick fire round. We're going to end there, guys. Good place to end it for the September Roundtable. We are literally all dancing away. It's incredible. Thank you very much, you guys, for taking the time out of your evening to come and do the round table. These are always a reet laugh and really interesting doing these. So thank you so much for your thoughts on the Big Finish live show, Stuff of Legend, and your thoughts about the upcoming spin-off and some other funny stuff around that. So thank you so much. Very, very cool. To you, the listener, thank you very much for joining us for another month. And make sure you are following or subscribing to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, so you won't miss any of these roundtables when I go out every month, plus the weekly show with myself and Adam on a Friday. And also check out the website, bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to these online as well. And also check out the reviews and everything from this very smart, talented, beautiful lot of people. You can read all their stuff on the website, so go and check that out. You can also link off to the socials. We're on there. We chat Doctor Who throughout the week, and we have a free Discord server, so hop in there and chat plenty of Who with other Who fans. So Harry, very much thank you very much. We'll see you next time, dude.
Thank you, Gary. It has been awesome as ever.
Cheers, Matt. Until next time.
Thank you, Gary. As always, an absolute pleasure, and thank you to Big Finish for the opportunity to see and review the live show.
Maria, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. It's been brilliant.
Lovely stuff. And Jordan, thanks as always, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I finished my gin. So
Lovely.
yeah.
Until next time, my name's Gary.
My name's Maria.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Matt.
I'm Harry.
And remember...